As hundreds of employees are let go from Stellantis, many are wondering what impact this will have on the auto industry.
Could anyone have imagined that Jeep, the legendary off-road champion and symbol of rugged success, would be staring down the barrel of bankruptcy? From conquering rough terrains to now facing a financial cliff, it's a shocking turn no one saw coming. Is this the result of Stellantis' disastrous decisions, or has the fierce competition finally driven Jeep into a corner? And are these unbelievable deals a rare opportunity for buyers, or just a desperate attempt to stay alive? Let's dive into the truth behind the chaos as we unravel what's really happening at Jeep. Jeep's parent company in crisis, the downfall begins. Stellantis, Jeep's parent company, was formed in 2021 through a highly anticipated merger between Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and the PSA Group. It was expected to become an industry leader, a giant in the automotive world that would dominate markets globally, but instead of creating a powerhouse, the merger resulted in chaos. The two companies, with their distinct corporate cultures, couldn't blend smoothly. Stellantis' strategy of combining European finesse with American ruggedness has backfired spectacularly, particularly for Jeep. In the quest to take Jeep to new heights, Stellantis has made some questionable decisions. The launch of luxury models like the Grand Wagoneer was aimed at positioning Jeep in the premium segment, competing with high-end brands like Land Rover and Lexus. However, this move alienated Jeep's traditional customer base, who loved the brand for its rugged, affordable off-road capabilities. What was once a symbol of freedom and adventure is now seen as overpriced and out of touch with its roots. This disconnect has left fans frustrated and confused, raising concerns about the brand's future. A former Jeep executive, Jim Morrison, voiced his frustration. They've lost the essence of what made Jeep great. It was about ruggedness and accessibility, not luxury and high price tags. The direction they're taking is a betrayal of Jeep's heritage, and it's a mistake that could cost them dearly. The results are already visible as Jeep's sales figures continue to decline and the brand's image takes a severe hit, driving away loyal customers. If there's one thing that has driven Jeep's loyal fans away, it's the skyrocketing prices. Over the past 5 years, Stellantis has raised the prices of Jeep vehicles by an astonishing 50%. Models that were once considered affordable, like the classic Jeep Wrangler, now start at over $40,000. This sharp increase has made it difficult for Jeep's traditional buyers, who valued the brand for its affordability and off-road capabilities, to continue supporting it. Imagine being a lifelong Jeep enthusiast, excited to buy a new Wrangler, only to find that it's now priced like a luxury vehicle. This pricing strategy is pushing customers away, and the numbers reflect that. Jeep's net income saw a shocking 48% drop in the first half of 2024, a direct result of the falling sales volumes. Loyal customers who once lined up to buy new models are now turning to other brands, feeling priced out and betrayed. A disgruntled customer who has owned several Jeep models over the years expressed his disappointment in a recent interview. "I've always loved Jeep for its rugged charm and affordability. Now it feels like they're trying to be something they're not. The prices are ridiculous. I can get a luxury SUV for that kind of money, and it's not what Jeep is about." His sentiment is echoed by many fans who feel alienated by the brand's new direction. To make matters worse, the pricing catastrophe has led to a significant buildup of unsold inventory at dealerships. In August 2024 alone, Jeep's sales declined by 20% compared to the same month the previous year. With high inventory levels and declining demand, dealerships are struggling to clear their stock. Some have resorted to offering steep discounts, 0% financing deals, and other incentives just to move vehicles off the lot. It's a sign of desperation, and it highlights the deeper issues at play within Stellantis' pricing strategy. A series of embarrassing recalls. The troubles for Jeep don't end with pricing. The brand is also suffering from severe quality control issues, leading to a string of recalls that have further damaged its reputation. Between 2021 and 2023, reports surfaced of engine fires in certain Jeep models, even when the ignition was turned off. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, launched an investigation revealing that over 7,815 vehicles were potentially affected by this dangerous defect. In addition to engine fires, Stellantis has been forced to recall more than 1.46 million Jeep vehicles due to software glitches that compromise the electronic stability control systems. These recalls have created a nightmare scenario for Jeep, as customers are left wondering if their vehicle is safe to drive. It's a shocking fall from grace for a brand that once prided itself on its reliability and rugged performance. A former Jeep engineer who preferred to remain anonymous shared some damning insights. The focus has shifted from quality to quantity. We were pushed to meet unrealistic production targets, often at the expense of safety checks. It's no wonder these issues are surfacing now. The management's priorities have changed, and it's the customers who are paying the price. This kind of feedback from industry insiders paints a troubling picture of what's happening behind the scenes. The impact of these quality control issues is clearly reflected in the sales figures. Jeep's once loyal customer base is starting to lose faith in the brand. August 2024 sales were down significantly, and the recall announcements have only added to the bad press. As Stellantis struggles to address these problems, it's becoming evident that their focus on cutting costs has come at the expense of the quality that Jeep was once known for. A brand and identity turmoil. The problems at Stellantis go deeper than just pricing and quality control. The company's leadership has been in constant turmoil, with a revolving door of executives stepping in and out, particularly in key positions overseeing Jeep. Over the past few years, respected leaders like Jim Morrison and Mark Allen have exited the company, leaving a void that's been difficult to fill. Their replacements have brought their own visions, leading to inconsistent strategies that have confused both customers and employees. One month, the focus is on pushing high-end luxury models. The next, it's a sudden pivot back to Jeep's rugged roots. This inconsistency is creating an identity crisis for the brand, making it difficult for customers to know what Jeep stands for anymore. It's not just a problem for marketing, it's affecting the entire company, from the top executives down to the factory floor workers who are left uncertain about the future. In a recent statement, Jeep's current CEO, Antonio Fasas, expressed optimism about their new strategic direction, which involves a major push into the electric vehicle (EV) market. However, industry analysts are skeptical. One insider described it bluntly: "This isn't a strategy, it's a desperate attempt to salvage what's left of the brand. The constant leadership changes are causing chaos, and the brand's identity is being eroded." Meanwhile, the relationship between Stellantis management and the workforce has hit an all-time low. The United Auto Workers UAW union has filed numerous grievances, with nearly 98% of its members expressing dissatisfaction over broken promises regarding job security and investment in production facilities. Workers are frustrated and feeling betrayed as they watch Stellantis prioritize executive bonuses over fulfilling commitments to the labor force. The tension is escalating, and the fear of a potential strike is looming large, a scenario that could spell disaster for Jeep at this critical juncture. The EV gamble, Stellantis' desperate bet on electric vehicles. With Jeep's traditional strategies failing and its core customer base feeling alienated, Stellantis is making a bold, high-risk move towards electric vehicles, EVs. The company has announced a massive $46 million investment to retool 3 of its Michigan plants for EV production, focusing on electric versions of the Jeep Wagoneer and other popular models. This shift is being touted as the future of the brand, but many insiders are skeptical about whether this gamble will pay off. Jeep has always been synonymous with rugged, off-road vehicles. Think mud-covered Wranglers tackling rocky trails. But will this brand identity translate into the electric era? Stellantis seems to think so, but not everyone is convinced. A recent survey of Jeep owners showed that a significant portion of them are hesitant about switching to electric vehicles. Many see the EV push as a betrayal of the brand's core values of adventure and toughness. Industry expert John Davis shared his doubts in a recent interview. Jeep built its reputation on rugged durability, not on silent electric motors. There's a risk that this transition could dilute the brand's image. They're betting big on EVs, but if it doesn't resonate with their loyal customers, it could backfire spectacularly. Production challenges and workforce turmoil. Stellantis' ambitious move into electric vehicles isn't just about investing in new technology, it's also about navigating the complex realities of production. The shift to EVs often involves restructuring and layoffs, and Jeep's workforce is feeling the impact. In Michigan alone, nearly 2,450 employees have faced indefinite layoffs as Stellantis halts production of the Ram 1500 pickup to make way for its new electric counterparts. This decision has sparked outrage among the United Auto Workers UAW union, which has been vocal in its criticisms of Stellantis' approach. UAW President Shawn Fain has been particularly scathing, accusing Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares of prioritizing profits over people. We're seeing massive layoffs while executives take home record bonuses, Fain said in a fiery press conference. This is not how you treat the people who've built your company. The fear of a nationwide strike is looming large as the relationship between Stellantis management and its workforce continues to deteriorate. Workers are demanding job security and clarity about the future of their roles, especially as the company pivots towards electric vehicle production. If a strike were to occur, it could cripple Stellantis' already strained operations, exacerbating its inventory issues and potentially pushing Jeep further into financial turmoil. Ford Bronco versus Jeep Wrangler. While Jeep grapples with internal chaos, its competitors are making strategic moves to capitalize on the brand's vulnerability. One of the biggest threats comes from the Ford Bronco, which has made a triumphant return to the market. The new Bronco is directly targeting Jeep's customer base, offering off-road capabilities, modern styling, and a price point that appeals to adventure seekers who feel priced out of Jeep's current offerings. The Ford Bronco's success has been nothing short of a wake-up call for Stellantis. Since its reintroduction, the Bronco has not only gained a massive following, but has also eaten into Jeep's market share. The contrast between the two brands couldn't be more stark. While Jeep is seen as struggling with an identity crisis, the Bronco has been praised for staying true to its roots while integrating modern features. Auto industry analyst Sarah Keller weighed in on the rivalry. The Bronco's comeback has exposed a major weakness in Jeep's strategy. Ford has managed to capture the spirit of adventure that Jeep seems to have lost. If Stellantis doesn't course correct soon, Jeep could find itself losing its place as the go-to brand for off-road enthusiasts. This competitive pressure isn't just a minor inconvenience for Jeep, it's a direct threat to its survival. Sales figures tell the story clearly. While Jeep's Wrangler sales dropped by 33% in the first half of 2024, the Ford Bronco saw a surge in demand. The writing on the wall is clear. Jeep needs to reclaim its identity fast or risk losing its core market to a revived rival. The recall nightmare persists. As Jeep tries to navigate its transition towards electric vehicles and fend off new competition, its long-standing quality issues continue to haunt the brand. The recent wave of recalls is the latest in a series of embarrassing setbacks that have further eroded consumer trust. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, reports surfaced of more problems with Jeep's popular models, including issues with faulty brakes and malfunctioning airbags. In July 2024, Stellantis announced yet another major recall, this time affecting nearly 1 million Jeep vehicles across multiple models. The cause? A software glitch that could disable key safety features. This revelation has left many Jeep owners frustrated and worried about the reliability of their vehicles. The recalls have not only damaged Jeep's reputation, but have also put a severe strain on the company's financial resources as it struggles to cover the costs of repairs and replacements. A former Stellantis quality control manager revealed the shocking truth behind the scenes. The company has been cutting corners to meet production targets. There's intense pressure to get vehicles out the door, even if it means compromising on quality. It's a ticking time bomb, and we're starting to see the fallout. These quality issues aren't just isolated incidents. They reflect deeper systemic problems within Stellantis' approach to manufacturing. The focus on cost-cutting and rapid production has backfired, resulting in a wave of recalls that is costing the company millions of dollars and damaging its already fragile relationship with customers. Jeep's image as a reliable, rugged brand is taking a beating, and the company's efforts to fix these problems seem to be too little, too late. The impact on sales has been devastating. August 2024 sales figures showed a 20% decline year over year, with dealerships struggling to move recalled models off their lots. Many dealers have resorted to offering steep discounts, but even these incentives aren't enough to lure back wary customers who are fed up with the constant recalls and quality issues. The recalls have also led to legal troubles for Stellantis, as lawsuits from affected customers pile up. Several class action suits are currently in the works, alleging that Stellantis knew about the defects but failed to take action sooner. If these lawsuits gain traction, it could spell even more financial trouble for a company already teetering on the edge. A workforce on the brink. The growing crisis within Stellantis isn't just affecting the company's bottom line, it's taking a toll on its workforce. As the automaker shifts its focus towards electric vehicles, EVs, thousands of workers are being laid off or reassigned with little warning. The United Auto Workers UAW union has been sounding the alarm, accusing Stellantis of failing to uphold promises about job security and investment in production facilities. The situation escalated in October 2024, when Stellantis announced a wave of layoffs affecting nearly 2,500 workers at its Warren truck assembly plant. This decision, aimed at halting the production of the Ram 1500 to make way for new electric models, was a direct blow to the local workforce. For many employees, it felt like a betrayal, as they had been assured that the plant would remain operational. UAW President Shawn Fain has been vocal in his criticism, calling out Stellantis for prioritizing executive bonuses over the well-being of its employees. "We are at a breaking point," Fain declared in a recent press conference. "This company is reaping profits while workers are left wondering if they'll have a job tomorrow. It's unacceptable, and we're prepared to take action if necessary." The threat of a nationwide strike looms large, and if it materializes, it could cripple Stellantis' already struggling operations, further exacerbating its financial woes. The workforce unrest isn't just about layoffs, it's also about a lack of communication and transparency from Stellantis' leadership. Workers report feeling left in the dark about the company's plans, and rumors of further production cuts are fueling anxiety. An anonymous employee from the Sterling Heights assembly plant shared their frustration. "We're constantly being shuffled around with no clear explanation. It's like they're making it up as they go, and we're the ones paying the price." The impact of government interventions: a $1 billion bailout. With Jeep's financial troubles mounting and layoffs increasing, the federal government has stepped in with a proposed $1 billion bailout to help Stellantis transition smoothly to electric vehicle production. On paper, this financial boost seems like a lifeline for a company on the brink of collapse, but critics argue that it's merely a band-aid on a much deeper wound. Industry experts are divided on whether this bailout will actually solve the underlying issues plaguing Stellantis and Jeep. While the funds might help cover immediate costs, including the ramp-up of EV production, they do nothing to address the systemic problems like poor quality control, declining sales, and a fractured relationship with the workforce. It's a short-term solution that doesn't get to the root of the crisis. Senator Rebecca Miles, a vocal critic of the bailout, expressed her concerns during a recent hearing. "We're essentially rewarding a company for its mismanagement. Instead of holding Stellantis accountable for its poor decisions, we're bailing them out with taxpayer money. This isn't a sustainable fix. It's a temporary patch that will likely lead to more problems down the line." The government intervention has also sparked controversy among industry insiders, who believe that Stellantis might use the bailout as an excuse to shift more production out of the United States. There are already rumors that Jeep could move some of its manufacturing operations to Mexico, where labor costs are lower. If these rumors prove true, it could be a devastating blow to American workers and a significant political issue, especially given the current economic climate. Jeep's brand identity crisis. Jeep is at a crossroads, struggling to maintain its identity in a rapidly changing automotive landscape. Once a symbol of rugged adventure and American freedom, Jeep now finds itself pulled in multiple directions, trying to appeal to both luxury buyers and off-road enthusiasts. This attempt to be everything to everyone has left the brand in an identity crisis. The launch of high-end models like the Grand Wagoneer was intended to elevate Jeep into the luxury market, but instead of boosting the brand's image, it has created confusion. Longtime Jeep fans, who appreciated the affordability and simplicity of models like the Wrangler, feel alienated by the shift towards upscale tech-heavy vehicles with hefty price tags. The disconnect between what Jeep used to represent and what it's trying to become is evident, and it's causing many loyal customers to look elsewhere. Auto industry analyst Michael Thompson commented on the brand's struggle. Nice. Jeep is trying to reinvent itself, but in the process, it's losing sight of its roots. The core customer base, those who love Jeep for its ruggedness and reliability, are being pushed away by the new direction. It's a risky strategy, and it's not clear if it will pay off. The backlash against Jeep's new image is evident in declining sales numbers. While Jeep once commanded a loyal following, the brand's recent attempts to cater to luxury buyers have backfired. Sales of models like the Grand Cherokee and Grand Wagoneer have been underwhelming, forcing dealerships to offer heavy discounts just to move inventory. It's a sign that the brand's identity crisis is taking a toll on its market position. Legal troubles and lawsuits. The problems for Jeep don't end with declining sales and a confused brand image. The company is also facing a growing number of legal battles stemming from its quality control issues and controversial business practices. Several class action lawsuits have been filed by customers who allege that Stellantis knowingly sold vehicles with defects, including faulty brakes and malfunctioning software. In one high-profile case, a group of Jeep owners is suing Stellantis over recurring issues with the Jeep Wrangler's electronic stability control system. The lawsuit claims that the company was aware of the defect but failed to issue a recall in a timely manner, putting drivers at risk. "I bought my Jeep because I trusted the brand," said lead plaintiff Rachel Peterson. "But after multiple trips to the dealership for the same problem, I realized they were just trying to sweep it under the rug." The legal troubles don't stop there. Stellantis is also facing an investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice over allegations of emissions cheating, similar to the scandal that rocked Volkswagen a few years ago. If the investigation confirms wrongdoing, it could lead to hefty fines and further damage the company's already tarnished reputation. These legal challenges are yet another headache for Stellantis, which is already struggling to navigate a complex web of financial issues, quality control failures, and workforce unrest. The mounting lawsuits could cost the company millions in settlements and legal fees, adding to its financial burdens and making it even harder to invest in the future of the Jeep brand. The EV price war, a losing battle for Stellantis. As Stellantis pushes Jeep into the electric vehicle EV market, it faces a new challenge: the ongoing EV price war. Major players like Tesla have been aggressively slashing prices to capture market share, putting immense pressure on Stellantis to follow suit. However, the company's reluctance to engage in this price battle is proving costly, and Jeep's electric models like the upcoming electric Wagoneer are entering a market saturated with more affordable EV options. CEO Carlos Tavares has publicly expressed his concerns about the bloodbath that could result from price cuts across the industry, warning that it could lead to a collapse in profitability. But Stellantis' cautious approach might be backfiring. The company is losing potential buyers who are flocking to cheaper, well-established alternatives like Tesla's Model Y and Ford's Mustang Mach-E. Market analyst David Harris commented on the situation. Stellantis is trying to maintain its margins, but in doing so, they're pricing themselves out of the competition. The electric vehicle market is cutthroat, and unless Jeep can offer something truly unique at a competitive price point, they're going to struggle. The stakes are high, and the financial strain is already evident. Stellantis reported a 48% drop in net income for the first half of 2024, largely due to reduced sales volumes and the challenges of competing in the EV market. If the company doesn't adapt quickly, its plans for an electric future could crumble before they even take off. Is Jeep running out of time? The word bankruptcy is being whispered more frequently in the automotive industry when discussing Stellantis and Jeep. Financial analysts are raising red flags, pointing out the alarming drop in sales, the high inventory levels, and the escalating costs of recalls and legal battles. The once iconic brand is now at risk of facing a financial meltdown. The prospect of bankruptcy isn't just speculation, it's becoming a genuine concern, with ongoing losses, mounting debts, and the potential for a massive nationwide strike by the United Auto Workers, UAW. Stellantis' financial stability is on shaky ground. The company's attempts to pivot towards electric vehicles might not be enough to save it, especially if the quality issues and legal troubles continue to pile up. Industry insider Mark Anderson painted a grim picture. Stellantis is burning through cash at an unsustainable rate. If they can't turn this around soon, we might be looking at the end of Jeep as we know it. Bankruptcy or even a brand closure could be on the table. This looming financial crisis is a wake-up call for Stellantis. The clock is ticking, and the decisions made in the next few months could determine the fate of Jeep. Will it bounce back, or will it go down as a cautionary tale of corporate mismanagement? Can Jeep make a comeback? Despite all the turmoil, there are still some signs of hope for Jeep. The brand's new leadership team, led by CEO Antonio Fasas, is implementing a turnaround plan that aims to address the core issues plaguing Jeep. This strategy includes price reductions across the board, new model launches focused on electric and hybrid options, and a ramped-up marketing campaign to win back lost customers. Recent sales data offers a small glimmer of optimism. In August 2024, Jeep saw a 28% increase in sales compared to the previous month, and a 55% rise from July 2024. While these figures are promising, they might be the result of steep discounts and heavy incentives offered by dealerships desperate to clear their inventories. Whether this uptick is sustainable remains to be seen. Antonio Fossas remains hopeful about the brand's future, stating, "We are making the necessary changes to bring Jeep back to its roots. Our focus is on quality, affordability, and staying true to the adventurous spirit that made Jeep iconic. It's a challenging road ahead, but we believe in the strength of our brand and our ability to adapt." However, it's gonna take more than words and incentives to rebuild the trust that Jeep has lost. The quality control issues need to be resolved, the legal battles must be settled, and the brand's identity needs to be clarified. The next few quarters will be crucial in determining if Jeep can make a successful comeback, or if it will continue to struggle under the weight of its own problems. What lies in store for the Jeep and Stellantis? As we look to the future, it's clear that Jeep and Stellantis are at a crossroads. The transition to electric vehicles, the internal chaos, and the mounting financial pressures all point to an uncertain road ahead. Jeep's legacy as a rugged, reliable brand is in jeopardy, and the choices made now will define its place in the automotive industry for years to come. One possible outcome is a drastic restructuring, which could involve selling off parts of the brand or even closing down certain production facilities. There's also the looming possibility of a bankruptcy filing, which would be a devastating blow to an iconic American brand with a history that dates back to World War II. But there's also a chance for redemption. If Stellantis can successfully navigate its EV transition, resolve the quality control issues, and reconnect with Jeep's core customer base, the brand could emerge stronger and more resilient. The automotive industry loves a comeback story, and Jeep might just have one more left in it. So there you have it. Jeep is standing at the edge of a cliff, facing one of the toughest challenges in its history. Will it fall, or will it find a way back to the top? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The next few months are going to be critical, and we'll be keeping a close eye on how this story unfolds. What do you think? Is Jeep headed for a miraculous comeback, or are we witnessing the slow demise of an American legend? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on the latest news about Jeep and the automotive industry, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.